Three, two, one. Carl. What does he say at the beginning?
In five,
Yeah,
four.
count us down, Freddie. Hello, everybody. This is Otakus on Air, and we're here to talk about anime, manga, Dargon Ball, what they ate in Dargon Ball Daima this week. We're here to talk about what they ate at the end of the post-credit scene of Attack on Titan. We're here to talk about DanDaDan, and we're also here to talk about Dragon Ball Z. I am Nikos. This is Maria. Okay, so this week there was no, I think obviously the best opposite. I can't speak today.
You're having a stroke today?
This has been a very hard day for me to speak. Last 24 hours. We had a Friendsgiving. We stayed up till like 2 in the morning. Woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It was a lot. But we had a successful Friendsgiving. There was lots of food. I made some dip, made some cheese barbecue dip. Um,
Made like a buffalo chicken cheese dip. It
yeah,
was
you
good.
you made some. Tell them what you made.
Yeah, I made mole, which is if you're, not familiar, it's a Mexican dish that has like a sauce, like a chocolate and chile sauce, pepper sauce. Really good. It was my first time making it from scratch, so very, very proud moment for me. I made brownies, um,
Banging,
and bangin' brownies, of course, of course. And then I also made um, pumpkin cheesecake cookies, so they were
banging.
filled with cheesecake filling. Yeah.
Those things are really good. They were just moist enough with the filler. They had a white filler in them. Oh, they're so good.
The filler was
Oh
cheesecake.
yeah, yeah. But sorry, got a little caught up in talking about them. Man, they were so good though. Those are really good. Everyone made some good stuff. There was nothing bad. Nothing I could report back and say there was nothing bad. I would have had more rolls if not for somebody eating all the rolls. She's never gonna watch this, so she's never gonna know this bird. So I can say whatever I want. She ate all the rolls. She knows who she is. Anyway, so that happened. But while that was happening, Attack on Titan, the movie, the final movie, dropped in Japan, and no, silly me, I thought that it was gonna come out in America the same time it comes out in Japan. Silly me. Why would they ever do that?
Wrong.
Why would they? Why would they ever be able to
False.
dub something right away? You know what's funny? The movie or like this movie has been out for a year, right? The Attack on Titan, the final part 7.5, whatever the fuck it was called, has been out for a year, and they decided they want to do a cash grab while the iron's still hot and do a final movie combining the final two parts and putting it all together, and there you go, 2 hours of Attack on Titan. They decided to put a post-credit scene of like a different universe, I guess, of maybe the future, the ancestors of all these people, but Mikasa and Aaron never did it, so there goes that defunct. It's not definitely not the future, right?
No,
You
it's an alternate universe. They do these. I don't know if in like which chapters it is specifically, but there are some chapters in the Attack on Titan manga where these characters show up.
oh, okay.
So yeah, this wasn't like anime or like movie exclusive. This has been in manga before.
Oh, okay. Well, in this like post credit scene, it's this universe version of Armin, Mikasa, and Aaron. They're all watching. It's a post credit scene, so they're finishing the movie as soon as we're finishing the
Hmm.
movie. Now, I don't know. There's probably somebody out there that has like done the translations of the Japanese subtitles, but we just watched Japanese subtitles. We don't know. We didn't do this much research. We didn't look up to what they said. But I can only assume Armin was complaining about the ending of the movie because he didn't like it. Because he looked pretty angry and was already tweeting about it.
Mikasa
Uh,
looked very moved.
yeah, and Aaron's thinking about genocide. But, but yeah, I like how Mikasa was a goth. How right is Mikasa being a goth?
Yeah, she that's also in the manga that she is goth. Armin is a nerd. and Aaron's just like he's like a skater dude kind of.
Yeah.
Um, and it is like in this mini like canon, I guess Aaron and Mikasa also have a thing for each other. So it makes sense as to why Mikasa is so moved
Yeah.
at the end of the movie. Um, well, I love seeing all of the like different characters too in the background was really nice. Um, I've
See,
only ever seen stills of like the main, not stills, like panels of the main trio.
yeah.
So I don't know if the other characters are in like depicted in this alternate universe in manga. But it was nice to see them like scattered around.
Yeah, we
Um,
see right off the bat we see Levi who's tall. He
a
drank some milk.
janitor.
He drank some
Was he a
milk.
janitor?
He was cleaning up the
Yeah, he was.
inside, yeah, as a janitor inside of the movie theater. He looked
Mhm.
taller. I did see a TikTok of somebody saying that he did the same move that Hanji did when she was dancing when she was talking with
Yes,
Aaron, and
yes, she did.
so
He did. Sorry.
he did that. So good for Levi. That's what happens when you get nutrients when you're growing up. You can grow just a tiny bit more. Um, yeah, there's that. We also got to see who was the original Titan she had her kids. Her kids ate her body. What was her name in the beginning of the Attack on Titan?
Uh,
I don't know. Queen Freak. It's not Queen. Not the, it was the Queen Freak. Um, Historia.
no.
I don't know. We have
It's
technology in front of us.
founding Titan Amir, right? Her name is Amir also.
I don't know what her name is. We have technology. I don't know what it is. But whatever. We did see her in the background walking her kids on the side street. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really nice to see because like there's always like that hope, like maybe in a different timeline she gets to
Yeah,
be with her kids, and there she was.
yeah, we saw that. We also saw Nikolai's restaurant in the background, which was
Yeah,
Sasha's boy, so he got to become a chef. That was kind of
that made,
cool.
makes me so sad.
Um, and then they're kind of like talking in the middle of the street. I don't know if we saw anybody. I'm pretty sure we saw somebody else.
Her name is Amir.
Ymir. Okay, cool. I was not close. Uh,
Yeah, I was
yeah,
like, I was like founding Titan Amir.
yes. So we saw her and her kids. I think when they were walking by, we saw John, Gene, whatever his name is.
John.
John. He turned around and checked out me. So I,
John would be, he would be fiending for goth girls for sure. I get
um,
it.
I don't know if we saw anybody else, but we did see the giant tree when they zoomed up in the
That was
background.
interesting. Yeah, because I like I said, I've only ever seen like panels that just have like the main three. So I don't even know if like the tree is like included in any of that. But seeing
No,
it there, something to
no.
think about.
So we're gonna check out the movie when it comes out. I think it comes out in the United States in I want to say in December.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's like December or like beginning of January or something.
yeah, so we're gonna check that out then. But this kind of gives us an opportunity to talk a little bit about Attack on Titan. So I think there's a
He's the
misconception.
biggest Attack on Titan hater. He
I'm not.
hates Attack on Titan.
I was literally just about to say there's a misconception among people that you just proved me 100% right in the statement I was about to say. Anyway, my statement was going to be that there's a misconception in how my outlook is on Attack on Titan. I do like Attack on Titan. I think Attack on Titan is a very well thought out plot for the most part. Um, Listen, I think the first two. This is anime only. I didn't read the manga. I shouldn't say I didn't read it because I did read a lot of it, but I didn't like finish it, and it was just I don't know. I just didn't really feel like doing it. But for the anime wise, I did watch all the anime. Uh, I liked the first two seasons. I would kind of wrap in a little bit of the third season, but like as soon as it starts turning into like older Aaron and it gets all over the place, I don't really like that storyline. But that's like among things, it's the fascism. Um, listen,
He just for good reason hates
listen. I don't like
fascists.
fascists, and I don't think that this show does. It kind of just plays around with the idea of fascism, and it kind of plays around with the idea of what the horrors of like segregation in terms of like with the
Hmm.
Jews in World War II and what the Germans did. It
Yeah.
plays around with it, and I don't necessarily think it does a great job of showcasing what truly that means without using just as like a literary device. And I don't think that that's a
Which
good.
is fair.
I
Hmm.
don't think that's good to do. Because I mean, if you're like, I don't know what Isayama's the outlook is on what Japan did in the war, but there's a lot of they just tend to be like, oh, we don't really think about the atrocities that Japan did because it's all about Germany, and he's pretty pro imperialism if you look at what he does, and because of those views, it tends to make me think that he put his own. I mean, you're writing this thing, and it's hard to not put your own views into what you're doing. So, in my opinion, it feels like it feels like they didn't really do a good job because maybe he feels like that's what was done, and that's just it. There's nothing else more than what he was saying, you know? I'm sure that he's a smart man because, obviously they're making buttloads of money, and obviously the story is one of the most well liked stories of all time. I just think that if you're gonna play around with those sorts of ideas, I feel like you gotta push back on fascism. You gotta push back on not putting kids into a storyline that looks like you have a kid who is mind wiped Gabby by fascism, basically makes it think it's the right thing. And while she comes around towards the end, it only takes her being like, wow, because people are just like me, we should all like each other.
Yeah,
Not,
and like that's also sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
no, but like that's all good and all, but it literally took these giant titans stomping on them and people getting turned into titans all around them and her being like carted off into almost getting killed by the people that she was, fighting with. Like it took
Mhm.
all these things to lead her to that. It wasn't just like an individual thought process. You know what I mean? And it's like it's rare
Mhm.
you rarely get to see, I mean, I don't really know many stories where you see like a Nazi be like, you know what, we were wrong. Like there's not many of those, and I feel like that would have been a story to do it in. But anyway, I like Attack on Titan. I think it has a lot of good ideas. I think that I don't really like the ending, but that's like just plainly taste wise. I don't like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I like Attack on Titan's first like 2.5, 3 seasons, but as soon as it starts dabbling into like people wearing armbands and the guy obviously didn't know what he was stepping into with that, and I don't feel like he did a good job with it. Also, Aaron is a terribly written character, but that's just me. That's just me. That's
I
my thoughts.
I think well, I can talk about Attack on Titan all day. Um, I really enjoy talking about Gabby specifically because I think like while I don't necessarily like her character very much, I feel that a lot of people don't like her also for the wrong reasons. Um, because like I didn't really like season one, season two Aaron that much. Um, I found him annoying. And I see a lot of parallels in him with Gabby. And because of that, I don't really like Gabby that much. She's like they're the exact same character, IMO.
No, no,
um,
you're 100% right with that.
and that's also like it says something, that like they're both born into very similar environments where they're brought up thinking one thing, that of one thing being like there's only one right way and there's only one way to like go about things. But then as they meet more people and they mature, they realize that there are different ways to go about these things and there isn't really a black and white, that all of this is um there's a lot of gray in between. And while Aaron went in a very extremist,
Genocidal.
terrible, genocidal route, Gabby changes herself and she changes her views and begins to um her actions begin to accommodate that, you know. So it's, and I think it says a lot to war also, because if you think about people that were born in Nazi Germany or like were young during that time, they just, you just listen to what your parents tell you and like what's going on, like because they're also like not well off, you know, like so all you get like told is propaganda and like hate rhetoric, and then once you're introduced to something that's completely like goes against those ideals, it is hard to like get out of that mentality. So I think that there could have been better ways to go about that, but I can see that that's the idea that is trying to be like discussed. And you're right that it also doesn't happen like having that mindset change happen isn't like as
Yeah.
instantaneous as in Gabby's case, but like I think that's like there isn't a lot of time to go over that. So like that's just the general like idea.
I
Um
feel that um like to circle back a little bit what you're saying with Gabby. You know, Gabby's the fill-in for Aaron's
mm-hmm,
Shonen Pro tag in the last, season, and his how she and him look at, you know uh, these un you can't climb the wall, you can't get past your problems. But the biggest difference between the both of them is that how Aaron basically had to run away when he was her age. She did something and like
mm-hmm.
killed Sasha, and like whether you like it or not, like she was doing what she was
She thought,
told.
yeah,
Yeah,
she
what she
thought
was.
that she was doing the right thing.
Yeah, and if and it's funny because not funny, but maybe, with Sasha dying, it takes away all the joy that the series had because she was the last character that would bring anybody joy, and it's ironic because while Gabby is the legit same thing that Aaron was at that age, he laughs at that. he and
Because
he's
he knows, like
yeah,
he
yeah, because it's
knows
because it's
like that.
hilarious. But it's also like while I can totally admit that there are like very good you look at cutbacks between what morals were meaning between secret things that happened before and blah blah blah. It's also just kind of you know a total wrap up of how I feel like Aaron himself is just like a giant walking hypocritical person, and everything that he does is like, he tries to be a reactionary, or sorry, he tries to be someone who moves the plot forward when he needs to continuously react to things that happen, and like, I just don't think that him as a kid, it's more or less my argument that Aaron's character himself just doesn't really change all that much, and while he becomes pro tag to antag, it doesn't necessarily change what he does as a whole because he's just reacting the whole time, like
Yeah, and that's like that's completely fair. And like I feel like writing a character like Aaron is difficult because like we as the audience don't know that
oh,
he's
it's
being
not. Oh, it's not.
reactionary
Hold on,
the whole
hold on, hold on,
time.
hold on, hold on. It's not though, because the way you could easily have him impact the story is not have this kingdom royalty regime that they overthrew to like be replaced by a military regime and then have nothing to do with helping the people inside the walls. Like what was his point? To get his people freedom, right? To be free?
Yes.
But then he doesn't help anybody inside the walls. They don't change anything inside the walls. They all they do is go overseas, and they're like, what, we're gonna fuck these people up now. They don't help.
And like
They don't do anything. It's like
that's the point. That's the point. Like
it's wild.
that's the point. The whole it's talking about like
But my no 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 no
war
like
is
that's
fucking pointless. Like war is
yes.
pointless. That's
What
the
the
point.
Yeah, but
That
that's not
there
the
is no freedom. That's the point.
yes, that's not the point I'm making though. I'm saying like to make Aaron, in my opinion, show that he has like the ability to think more than just two brain cells, and that's all his ability is, to just go out and be attack attack attack. Maybe that's in the genes. Maybe he's the attack of Titan, right? That's all he does is attack. Uh, he does not
Yes,
protect.
he is the attack titan.
He does not protect. He does not.
He doesn't snack.
He does not snack. No, no. What I'm getting at here is that there could be more to him and the surrounding characters' thought process and going into doing these like full scale battles without it being constantly with them needing to react. It's like it doesn't turn into just we have a bunch of fascist people and we're going to just ride with the storyline. We have reasonings of why they're fighting the people back, why the biggest counter point of it being like the beginning of Attack on Titan is the armored Titan and the colossal Titan blow up the wall, and there's like the attack on Shinganshina, and you got fucking yeah, I'm gonna just run through that name. Um and like Aaron and the people get
Shiganshina.
Shinganshina. I don't know. I've heard multiple different ways people say it. I don't know. Uh but they get attacked, the people get attacked, blah blah blah, and then you go to like season 4, they attack Marley and they kill a bunch of people, they have the giant fight, everyone's getting murdered, blah blah blah, right? So those are your two things that you have thinking about. It's like in the meantime there is no like maybe we should like rebuild this place. Maybe we should think about that. And I know what you're saying, but that's my complaint about Aaron himself, and like that's why I don't like him as a character. That
Yeah,
that,
no,
that
I hear
he,
you. I hear you.
I get, no, that it doesn't hit me that like that's what the point of what they're trying to do is. I totally get the point. That's why I'm bringing it up. Like that's why I feel like Aaron has just a one track mind personality, and it's like I don't necessarily
Yeah.
see like
No,
how
like
that, and it's the same
yeah.
thing with like a lot of the scouts too, right? It's like you have all these brilliant ideas about war, and you have this brilliant idea to take over the government, and then they like totally forget about that, and then there's just a military coup. It's so weird. It's so weird. We should watch the military coup thing and go over the battle plans. Like I just watched a recent video breaking that whole thing down, and it might be one of the dumbest like ideas that I've ever fucking read. 'Cause it was just like, who made this? A child? How did this work? Like it's
like
idiotic at best.
I understand you, and I do hear you, and in me saying what I'm saying isn't to like undermine what you're saying, and
It's okay, it can.
it also is, no, I'm not trying to, and it also isn't to be like you don't get the point, because like I know
Yeah.
you get the point, but in me saying that, that's me saying why I like
Yeah.
um it's the same thing why I like it, because I can
Yeah.
see that um it's all like a metaphor. Like every single person, every single instance that happens is a metaphor. And I find that very interesting. I do think that there are some like parts of Attack on Titan that like could use a little work. I
As any
think that
story.
there's like, yeah, like I think that there are some things that could be cleaned up to make it a little more streamlined, a little more seamless. But I like um the thought of the story of like the overarching point of it
Y-
being that like it's meaningless. It's gonna happen no matter what. Like it's yeah.
it's kind of funny. Not it's funny that like when I talk about a lot of things with Attack on Titan, it does come off like I'm just fucking bitching. It does come off like I'm just complaining about things to bring it up.
Like
But it's like,
valid.
yeah, it's just there are certain aspects to every story that's gonna have problems and whatnot. Like I could easily put my favorite thing is JJK, and boy, do I hate that ending. And like I could pick apart that series completely. If you love something, you're probably gonna like find faults in it. You want to make it better in some way too. Like it's not that I don't love Attack on Titan because of those like fascist things. I really like the story of Attack on Titan. I wish I could like it more, but because those things exist, it's like that's my main point in it. And this is just off the top of my dome. If I were like to write out a whole thing, it'd be way more coherent.
Write a dissertation.
Yeah, yeah. If I could write down like you know what I'm saying? If I would rewatch the series again and take down
We should
notes
do
and
that. Let's
like
rewatch Attack on Titan from the
we're
beginning.
we're rewatching too many things. Well, when there's a really slow what is going
I want
when
to
there's
rewatch Attack on Titan.
I know we started it. But yeah, when there's a slow season, like maybe in this winter, January to Marchish time when everything starts to end,
So
we're
I can have some fresh ideas.
we can do some Attack on Titan content. I wouldn't mind watching Attack on Titan. I the thing is I'd like Attack on Titan. I really like those first two seasons. I've watched the first two seasons like 2, 3 times already, and I just finished it like what did I say 2022 when I watched it for the first time. So like within the last 2 years, I watched it 3 times. So anyway, that's kind of our Attack on Titan discussion for right now. We'll leave it at that. Don't want to get too deep because I don't have everything written down right now. If I'm going, we should do a count. We should do like a debate. We should do a debate about Attack on Titan. I
It's
think
like
that would be fun to do.
I think my closing statement is that I, yes,
In
but
confusion,
my closing statement is that I think that with a show like Attack on Titan that like talks about a lot of heavy things and a lot of things that are like very gray area, morally gray areas also that like the whole point is to like talk about it and to have differing opinions on it. Cause like I feel like Attack on Titan is one of those shows that a lot of people are very like um what's the word like divided on. Like there's so many people that are like love it and I understand why people love it. I love the show, but I feel like and I feel like that's also like a big like it says something because it's again leading back to how like people feel about like wars and like politics and like that of the like. So I think it's like it's good to talk about it and it's good to have differing opinions, especially on a show that talks about such heavy topics.
it's a
Um,
decline in literacy among our world.
it's not a decline in literacy.
It's the sky. It's the
It's
decline
about
in
the show is about
contextual
the show is
literacy.
about ignorancy.
People were like, "What's in the basement? What's in the basement?" You know what? I wish I could have died with Erwin there. Erwin there. You know what? He died at the right time. He died at peak. He went out.
anyway,
He went out in the bang. He went out.
anyway,
He went out in a world
anyway.
that was not meant for him. Nobody else reads
Throw
after.
all what I said out the window. Time to box.
Yeah. All right. Let us know what you think about that. Um, let's talk about DanDaDan. DanDaDan. Let's look at the episode first because I don't remember what episode we're on. Was it episode five?
6, 7,
Five. There's numbers. Let me look it up. DanDaDan. Episode
or 6.
6. A dangerous woman arrives. Is that really it? No.
No,
No.
7 then.
It is 7. Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
We know. We're here. All right. So this is the discussion for DanDaDan episode 7. This episode was man, this episode kicked me
So
right
sad.
right in the gut. There was
So sad.
usually when we're watching like DanDaDan, there is a lot of like we're laughing, we're I don't know, pointing out how cool animation is, and this it's not to say that there wasn't cool animation. But this episode was probably the deepest
It was
narrative
heavy.
for a villain that like I've
Mhm.
seen since probably Naruto. I would say Naruto does the best in terms of like characterizing villains and being like this is their tragic backstory and this is how sad they are. Like Zabuza's background or like Pain's background. You like see what happens with them and you're like, oh man, oh man. Yeah, what's up?
I'd argue my hero with Shigaraki or Dabi.
Oh, it's just opinion if that's how you feel. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Those two are definitely sad ones. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. this this backstory for the acrobatic what was her name? The acrobatic skilled lady,
Silky or
Silky.
whatever.
Yeah, I did not expect that at all. Like I did not expect after last episode where I definitely was leaning more towards this being like a weird Dommy thing. You talked me down on it. I've had many of conversation with many of people now that have talked me down on the horny Dommy mommy thing. And it was put completely into perspective now what this actually was about. And yeah, it was a beautiful episode. I loved everything about it. What did you where do you want to start with this? What do you want to how do you want to discuss this?
Yeah, like I kind of like had the impression that we were gonna go into her backstory,
Yeah,
and
we
I'm
did.
glad that we did because like I didn't get any like inkling of it being remotely sexual, so I'm glad that it kind of like cleared the air
Absolutely. Yeah.
on that a little bit. Especially because the show has had like a lot of sexual undertone.
This doesn't take
Um
away from them putting her in zip ties and putting balls in her face.
yeah, like there's
That's
it's all
still
still there, but like I'm glad like brought it was very sad. It was a very heavy topic to discuss in such a like otherwise like lighthearted show, but I think it was very important to touch on for sure. And like I feel that because of this, we're going to like at least for me that like really disliked what's her face.
Arya,
Yeah, I feel like
Ira,
Ira.
not Arya Stark.
Not not Arya. We're also watching Game of Thrones. But Ira.
Ira, yeah.
I feel like this will be a big shift in her character, which I'm also like I want to see that character development. I feel like this experience would absolutely change some things with her, especially because in the episode they transferred because she died.
Yeah.
She died. Um I feel and they had to transfer uh acrobatic Silky's aura to her Ira
Yeah.
to bring her back to life. So then she's also gonna have a piece of her, you know,
Yeah,
with
well,
her.
like to really like kind of like look to back up a little bit. So we go over like the episode starts a lot with the we go this like running right. We don't know what the fuck what's going on, and then it leads into a lot of the backstory. But we also kind of we see that Iroh was killed in the last episode, and we see Momo and Okarun trying to like uh bring her back to life and like Momo was kind of obviously that she got zip tied and was attacked by this gang basically and put into this predicament, but the fact that Momo also was like immediately like, oh, we gotta save her. And like I think that's kind of good character development too, along with Momo doing that sort of thing. And the silky acrobat is standing there, and then we go into the background. But we to get to where you were just talking about, we had the like essence. What would you call that? Like an essence transfer
They called it like an aura transfer.
or a transfer? Yeah, like that whole thing. That scene was like pretty cool. Um, like what like when those moments of like really slowing down and showing like personality of how much like how humanizing in these like while we have like these giant demons and we have these these powers where they get transformed into these giant things, and you have Okarun and his weird big mouth thing. It's like these humanizing moments are just what makes the show like very appealing to me. And like I really thought about when you brought when you brought that part up, it's like how they got there. I think is just in the lead up to all that is just very I don't know. I think this is what made this episode for me like one of the best episodes is that moment where it's like you have all these revolving emotions, and and we can go more into like the background of what happened with the acrobatic Silky. Um, like man, it's the best mom in anime.
Um, I don't know if I was misunderstanding. I know she worked like a couple of jobs, right? Like she
Yeah,
had, was one of
yeah,
them? Okay. Okay,
yeah.
that's what
She
I
was a
thought.
prostitute. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
that's
she
what I
was
thought.
doing
Okay. I wasn't
prostitution.
sure if I was like misunderstanding
No,
it and I didn't want to like say that. Okay.
no,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
she was doing prostitution in there. I didn't know what was going on in the beginning, but then I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess you
Mm-hmm.
gotta do what you gotta do. She was doing it
Yeah,
all
no,
for
it's not
her.
like it's not talking bad on sex work or anything. I didn't want to call her a sex worker
Yeah,
without like knowing that that was what she was doing. Um but yeah, it's really sad. She was a single mother and she was just trying to make it work for her daughter. Um and she was like teaching her daughter like ballet and like how to dance. Um and stuff. So you're just getting like montages and moments of her spending time with her daughter. And she ends up buying her like a nice dress. So she saves up her money to get her a nice dress to dance in. And I believe that that's the dress we see her in her like yokai, like demon form, is that ballet dress. Um it was really sad. It was really sad. And like you we never get the closure because it seemed like maybe like gang members or just some bad men came in and hurt her and then took her daughter, and we don't get the closure of what happened to her daughter. um and acrobatic Silky dies trying to get her back because she lost too much blood. So
yeah. I think it's safe to say that probably the daughter died too.
it
Um,
yeah, but
I know.
we don't see get
Yeah,
visual closure to that.
yeah. I think like I've watched a lot of anime. You've watched a lot of anime. I don't know if this was for you, but like, nothing really compares to what we witnessed in this episode. Like, there's not much I could say that was as impactful as I feel like this episode was to me. And it's crazy because it's like everybody kind of gets everybody that got to witness that transfer because we get to see the entire backstory when Momo does the aura transfer. Um,
Mhm.
and Momo like gets it, and it's it's crazy. I mean, when the acrobatic Silky is disappearing, and Ira wakes up and goes and hugs her, like, man, that was so sad. Like I just couldn't.
Mhm.
I mean, wow, what a gut punch. I mean,
Mhm.
um it was crazy. I also read the manga part for this episode. I was reading it while I was doing stuff in the bathroom because I had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. um, while I was there, I was reading the manga, and um, the final manga like chapter shows both like the big demon Acro Silky and her daughter hand in hand walking towards like a kinder place for the last like manga panel, and underneath it is Ira like saying "mommy" to her, like oh my god. And then when she said like "mommy, I love you," I was like, "Oh my god."
Okay, you see that adds a lot more um to the moment because they were also saying that since they were doing an aura transfer or something, that because of like all of like the shit she did in her afterlife, like as a ghost or whatever, that there wasn't anybody left to remember. This would like erase their memories of her, and she wouldn't get to go to like heaven or a
Yeah,
better place. So in those moments where Ira goes up to her, calls her mommy and hugs her and says she'll never forget her, like that's like
that was her Coco moment.
Dude, like
That
speaking of
was her
Coco,
that was her
I
Coco moment.
I can't watch that movie. I it's one of my favorite Pixar movies. I cannot watch it because it makes me cry really, really bad. I was holding it together. One thing you need to know about me is I'm a very emotional person when it comes to these things. And I was holding myself together. I did not cry. But it's been on my noggin
Yeah.
heavily.
Um, I wouldn't say this was the best animated episode. There were definitely moments that were like, all right, what's happening? But like, I'm not a big fan of shaky cam, but I think that it worked for what they were going for.
Yeah, that was giving me like vertigo
Yeah, no, I hate shaky cam.
personally.
That's why I absolutely hate Kenobi. Not gonna talk about Kenobi. But yeah, there was a lot of shaky cam that I really didn't like. But yeah, this episode was probably there are a lot. I would say DanDaDan has a great range. DanDaDan's like every single genre of anime. It has a bunch of
Yeah.
different. It takes a lot from a lot of different anime, and it's kind of like it's a joke anime too. So or a joke like manga, and I think that they take the best parts of what makes good writing in terms of like villains and how to make you like them in the end and see they're misunderstood, and I think that it took that whole aspect and it made it its own. And I think that this episode was probably the best in terms of like emotionally
Mm-hmm.
gripping. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I still like episode 5 the most. I like the whole like beginning entrance when they were hanging out at school. That's probably my favorite episode so far. But this one definitely takes the cake in terms of like
Mm-hmm.
emotionally standing. And it was while it wasn't the bestly animated, I think that the stills that they had, I think that it looked
Yeah.
very beautiful. I think that it was
Mm-hmm.
beautifully done with what they had. Great story. Yeah, I mean this was a doozy. Also, good thing for them for this was the same effect at the end of Kaiju 8 with that stupid ending. Remember, it would be like there's this giant battle happening, and then it was like whatever stupid song they had from One Republic. Um, that cat, the Turbo Granny fucking ending took me right out of the
That
emotion. The last
was
day, I was like,
like
oh, I was like, oh my God, what a
and
slap
like
in the
the funny
face.
thing too is like that happens a lot in like other animes where like something like tear jerking happens, and then you get like them like alive and happy at the very end in the closing. It felt like for this very like Dandadan, like that
Oh,
is so Dandadan for them to like hit it with that, and then you just see like fucking Turbo Granny cat form like doing stupid shit. Like um
yes. Yeah,
like
it was good.
I liked that like it touched on such like heavy and dark topics, but it still felt like it didn't take away from the show or anything. Like it
No.
still felt like it was meant to be there, because like sometimes when shows try to do this, it like completely takes you out of like the tone of the show overall. So I really like appreciate
Erased.
yeah, I really appreciated the way that they did this. Um I still think I don't remember what episode it was. Like I think it was four, probably I think it was 4 or 5 or something. That is still my favorite, but this one, yeah, I agree that this one was very, very well done.
Yep. R.I.P. Acrobatic Silky.
Yeah. I
May
do hope that like we can keep getting this treatment in the future.
spoiler alert. We
We
do
do.
we get to see one more, and Acrobatic Silky's form will be back. Um, so there you go. There's your spoiler. I mean, it was already in the fucking intro, so it doesn't matter.
Yes.
But what do you guys think? Do you guys like this? Are you how devastated were you after this emotionally draining episode? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, leave a like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Hello, everybody. This is our breakdown of Dragon Ball Daima episode 6, titled Lightning. In this episode of what Dragon Ball Daima is this week, they ate cat food out of a I don't know, a cat food dish
The
every
internet's
week.
favorite
This
favorite
is
reporters on what Goku eats this
Yeah,
week.
yeah, this is what we do. No, there's not a lot of happening. No, actually, this episode is probably the first episode that there was actually a lot of stuff that was added to the lore of Dragon Ball. So I shouldn't say nothing happened. But in terms of like, if you're just a regular viewer, like how you kind of are, you probably thought this is the same old
You
bullshit
know,
that.
you normie.
Yeah, you are a normie. You absolutely are a normie. There's no way else to say it. You are a normie. They did a lot for the Kaioshin world. Like there was I thought they were gonna show us a chart of how the trees were in terms of how Shin was born and where
Did need
that
some
I
infographics.
wish that they did. For the first time I'm asking to see a chart. Show me the chart. Uh they did before apparently I don't remember the whole shit, but it was in some fucking show where they showed like where Shin was born. It used to be called like a raptor tree or something. I could easily look it up. I'm not going to because it's pretty relevant now because it was retconned. Now they're born from a Shin tree, which is like, ironically enough, like if you're up to date with Boruto, there's these things called the Shinju that are attacking Boruto, and those are born from the god trees there. So that's whatever. If you want to make a no some kind of connection there, you got it. But yeah, we see a little bit of Shin stuff. Glorio and Goku fight, but honestly, the coolest thing about this episode was seeing that Goku loves cat food. That's
It was like I think it was like he's saying again for people that only listen to this show, if there are, that
there are.
it looks like cat food, but it was actually like bugs
Oh
or
yeah, it was
something.
bugs. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was like actually bugs. And what's their name? Supreme Kai?
Yeah, Supreme Kai Shin. That's who I was talking about.
Yeah, it
Shin.
was yeah, it was like grody.
Yeah,
But it looked a lot like cat food. It came in like a little like tuna tin.
yeah.
Um
All right, I just want to get that out of the way really quick. We'll break down the entire episode. We'll start from beginning to the end. Beginning of the episode, the Pansy. What a terrible name too. Pansy, the girl who's 83 years old for reasons. Don't like that. I don't think we talked about that last time. Oh yeah, we didn't even go over episode 5 because we're gonna be doing our episodes on Sunday nights now, so that way you have them out on Monday. It makes more
Sorry that
sense.
this is so jumbled.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Who cares? For all our 100 viewers who like our Dragon Ball stuff, this is just what it's gonna be. But yeah, so at the beginning of the episode, Pansy packs too much stuff into their small plane and then they crash. And then she's like, "Oh man, I'll fix it because I'm really smart." But like,
Which
why didn't you think about this before? You built, you
no,
know.
like not even that. Like these people are just crash landing in every episode. Like nothing works. Like,
Yeah, no, this is just like a continuation of I don't know. Things are happening. Things are just happening just because. This is another the alternate title of Dragon Ball Daima is Dragon Ball Things Are Happening because what reasons? Daima. Like there is no there's no real whatever. So they crash. Um they go into a cave and then there's this giant minotaur guy
love that
and
guy.
love him. Love his design.
Such a good guy.
He's a you know what? He may want to eat you, but he's not a villain.
Not a
He's a
villain.
villain, but he's not a monster. Kind of. I don't know.
He's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
But not bad
A
guy.
bad guy. Oh, that's him. And then they do their weekly what are they eating? You think somebody who has a castle would not bring disgusting. Maybe it's a delicacy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it is a
Yeah, that's also what
delicacy.
I was thinking about. Like, she's a princess. Well, I guess you got to bring like non-perishables, right?
Which
So
they
I
did. You know
guess
what? We had a fucking poop joke in this episode.
Goku was making so many shit jokes in
Classic,
this
classic
episode.
Goku. Classic Goku
Like,
shenanigans. This
dude
episode
was
was pretty funny. I'll give him that.
this dude was plugged up the entirety of this show until this moment because he like I shit you not. he
Yeah.
he like took a shit like maybe 3 times in this
I love
whole
this. This is
episode.
Toriyama is notorious for doing poop jokes. Like if you ever watched when we watched the original Dragon Ball, I don't know when we will, but when we watched the original Dragon Ball, there is so many poop jokes in that like it is all over the place, literally, figuratively. Like it is a poop heavy medium when it comes to
All some big
Toriyama.
buff dudes
Big buff dude
getting
shitting.
strong. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So Goku did a lot of shit jokes. I thought it was really funny that she threw toilet paper at him. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, and goes behind the fucking tree. Like, where else? What? He's like, oh, she's like, you didn't bring any toilet paper. He's like, well, where'd you want me to? Where'd you want me to carry it?
Yeah, he was like just gonna like wipe it with his hand, like Goku.
He's
If
so
Chi Chi
funny.
saw you,
Hey, they haven't kissed
bro,
before, so it doesn't matter. They're so funny. Yeah.
you
So
gotta use your hands for other things.
so Goku pisses off Glorio because Glorio originally was like, all right, I'm just gonna go fight this ox. And then Goku
Oh
was like, I'm
yeah,
gonna fight this ox. And the ox is like, boys, settle down.
I'm gonna fight.
He's like, hey, I'm just gonna eat you. That's it. Just why don't you lay down and let me eat you? Um, but then Gloria's like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna not even pay attention to the ox anymore. I'm gonna fight you. And Goku and Glorio have like I don't know, a fight while like then the fucking ox is like, they're not even listening to me. I can say anything. That was so fucking funny. This was a
Yeah,
really funny episode.
that sequence was really funny. But we got Glorio news. Glorio's a bad guy.
Kind of.
Glorio or a morally gray
Yeah, well,
character.
well, we don't know 100% yet because prior to this, when they were sleeping in the cave that night, Glorio takes a call from the other demon realm lady. I forget. I think her name was like Doctor. Well, actually, we should know these names. We're intelligent people and we know exactly what's going on with all the characters in Dragon Ball Daima. And
Intelligence isn't measured by memory.
you know what? You're right. I
Hmm.
don't know what the name of the lady was.
She is a doctor
But
though.
she is a
She
doctor, and she's the
yeah.
other person that was named with the new Demon King, and he was on the telephone with her.
Supreme Kai's sister.
Yeah, that I don't know. I'm just gonna look it up. You know what? We could do this.
Remember that much. She was
Doctor
Supreme Kai's
Arensu. Got
sister.
it. Doctor Arensu. Boom. Boom roasted to
You
anybody
didn't.
who didn't think I knew what her name was.
You
Yes.
didn't.
So
Didn't fool me for a second.
he's on the phone with Dr. Arensu, and Arensu's like, bring them to me. And it's just another. This is basically Game of Thrones now. Who wants to take over the demon realm kingdom? It's plots against plots. You know, she called in Gloria to go bring in the dude who killed Majin Buu, and is like, we're gonna take him out. We're gonna take out Goma tonight. I don't know why they just don't tell. They could easily have just told Goku to be like, hey, do you think you could just kill this person for us? He's kind of a bad dude. I think he would have been like, I could fight someone strong. They easily could have just avoided this whole thing and just asked them. They don't gotta go sneaking
Goku's a
around.
simple man.
But also, why did Glorio do a call in the cave? Like the
There's a
echoey
lot
cave.
of things that Glorio's done this whole show that I question. um, because Supreme Kai hears him and
Yeah.
is like, hmm.
Yeah, and then and anyway, that whole side tangent goes to Glorio and Goku go outside to fight, and Shin's like, hold up, Goku. Fight him with your best so we can see what he does.
Yeah, because they're like,
And Goku's like,
dude,
gotcha,
sus.
gotcha, brother. Don't worry, brother. I'll take care of him.
Yeah, that honestly was probably one of like the best moments seeing him turn Super Saiyan. That was
Yeah,
really cool.
they do their fight. Glorio does like a magic thing, and his magic power is this thing called lightning. So he does force lightning, and he shoots a giant ball at Goku, and Goku knows how to control Super Saiyan at this point now, and he turns Super Saiyan 1, and the animation for it was sick. It looked very
Hmm.
reminiscent to how I felt Super Saiyan transformations were in Dragon Ball Z. Like when they after the first Dragon Ball, when in Dragon Ball in the Frieza saga, when he turned Super Saiyan for that first time, that's really cool. But it's like an angry transformation. There are like when they turn Super Saiyan like just normally in the Cell Saga, it kind of reminded me a little bit of that when they paid more attention to the animation of how they do it. And like this was sick to see that whole sequence. Well, it wasn't really like fight heavy because Goku wasn't
Mm.
really trying. Goku was easily taking anything that Glorio shot at him and just like took it out with one hand and then teleported behind Glorio and was like, "You're done. Power down, buddy." And then Glorio's like, "Oh, you right." Like, "Oh man, got me again." Yeah, I don't know. It makes me wonder what I feel what Glorio's and Dr. Arinsu's motives are. Like, are they going to be better than Goma? Like, is Goma, you know, Goma's obviously a bad dude, right? Like he kidnaps babies, he turns people into babies, and I
He's
don't know,
killing people
killing
by
people.
taxes,
Yeah,
by way of tax.
there's bad things happening in Demon Realm 3. Uh, so obviously he's a bad guy. So I wonder what Dr. R and Sue's motives are going to be. Maybe I have a feeling that Glorio's going to betray R and Sue and kill her,
Hmm.
and then he's gonna like get a power up and be buff, and then Goku and Vegeta are gonna fight him. That's my ultimate prediction of what's gonna happen here. But speaking of Vegeta and
We saw
Piccolo.
Vegeta.
Yeah, Bulma finishes off a the spaceship to get to the other demon realm, but that one crashes. And now finally we get to see the reasoning why the king of the demon realm, not the king of the demon realm, but that random king was like, "Hey, send this person and bring Piccolo and Vegeta." So now that person needs to go find them and bring them here. So
Hmm.
the next episode's probably gonna have Vegeta and Piccolo shenanigans. I hope that we get to
I
see
hope
them.
so.
I hope we
Hmm.
get to see them go to like Demon Realm 2. And I hope it's just a joke episode where they're like, "Where are they at?" And they're everything's different in Demon Realm 2. It's
I really like Piccolo's design. Side note, like seeing him so tiny and like chibi, it makes me
yeah.
giggle. I really like seeing him.
Yeah. I'm the thing about this series so far, I know we joke about the food, we joke about how there is no story. Um, there's only about 20. This is a limited series, right? So this is only going to be like 24 episodes. There's not going to be a continuation of this like super. It's not going to be 68 episodes like or however long Dragon Ball GT was. It's not going to be anything like that. This is just a limited series and it's going to be contained and this is what it is. Um, we're 6 episodes in and this pacing sucks. Like this pacing is
Yeah.
so bad. Like it's funny. We're finding entertainment value in it because like not that we have to. I mean, we easily could just drop the show at any point, but I feel like we would watch it week to week even if we weren't doing the show.
Hmm.
Um like we find it entertaining, but like on like a constructive criticism aspect, it's like the pacing of the show moves at a snail's
No,
pace.
absolutely.
Like
Hmm.
there's nothing happening in the show. Every week they do the same. It's the same formula every single week. They talk
Hmm.
in the beginning, they fight at the
Fight at the
end,
end. Yeah.
and then we're on to the next episode. This was probably the first episode that actually had some plot and actually
Hmm.
had some interesting takeaways from anything.
Hmm.
Um, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I like it because I think it's fun. I think it's lighthearted. But we say the same things every. We end each episode the same way. We're like,
No, that too. Yeah.
it sounds like we're making excuses for it, but it's like, I don't know. You take what you want from it. You know, I see a lot of people online every week just absolutely shitting on the show, but like it has an 8.1 on IMDb. I know it's not the end all be all with certain things, but 8.8 for an anime that only has 6 episodes and arguably has no fucking story is pretty fucking good. um,
And I feel
I
like that's just because it's so fun.
Yeah, I like the end. I really want to see the fusions. I really want to see more Super Saiyan. I think Super Saiyan looks amazing in this. and I want to see more high IQ fighting. This was the first one-on-one fight besides like the first episode with Goku and Vegeta that we saw, and I think it was
Yeah.
done really well. I liked how it looked. Like I said, the animation's never been in question for the show. So, yeah, I mean that's kind of it with this episode.
Mhm.
We'll see what I don't think they're gonna eat next episode. I don't think there's gonna be any eating next episode. That's gonna be. I don't think we're gonna get any eating for the next like 3 episodes. Sad to say, I think Dragon Ball. What are they eating this week? Daima will end right now, but hopefully there'll be more exciting plot developments going forward. Do you have any closing thoughts for Daima?
Yeah, I definitely think that the pacing is what's really like the biggest critique so far. And I feel that like when they brought that like snippet or like I guess like that update with Bulma, Vegeta, and Piccolo,
Yeah,
I had forgotten about them. Like I forgot that it had happened to them and that they were like actively trying to like do whatever the fuck they're trying to do. So like and I think that says something as a normie viewer, I think that says a lot that like there should have been so I guess like another critique is that there hasn't been like any more like not to say that there has to be a lot of back and forth between them because I feel like that would be very tiresome to see,
yeah,
but at least like because I know that they like it's been done in the past where they're just like stuff's happening, quick snippet, we're still stuck. Go back to the to the thing, you know? Like at least then we remember like what is going on. Um but I feel
yeah.
that like switching now towards focusing on Vegeta and gang, it's going to be a little more refreshing because then we're going to get like an entirely different um like would you say like a subplot, sub story or whatever? At least a
Probably
different
not.
at least a different perspective
Probably not. I mean,
on
I
what's
might
going on.
like I don't want to like pop your bubble, but I feel like it's literally going to be a joke for a minute, and then they're going to show up together, and then Goku and Vegeta are going to fuse, and then they're going to fight something, and that's going to be worth it.
My biggest point is that there's going to be a break from seeing Goku.
I doubt it.
That's my point.
They love Goku. I don't like Dragon Ball has a hard time keeping themselves away from show. I There was this cool video that showed like how much screen time Goku gets in his own show, which is that's his own show, right? But like even Naruto, there are tons of moments where you have Sasuke as the main character for basically half the fucking show, right? And he's like the main vocal point. Goku doesn't fucking go away. Goku,
Okay, well then that'll be
Goku,
something I'll
we'll
complain
see.
about next time. But
Okay.
anyway, my point being is that we're going to see other characters a
Yeah.
somewhat different perspective, which I feel is going to freshen how I feel about the show thus far. Um
Man, I
yeah.
hope. Man, I hope. I want to.
It sucks cuz it is fun.
Oh, I
So,
hope. I really want to. I think like we're also watching Dragon Ball Z, so
yeah.
like we haven't
Uh,
really seen a lot of like you haven't seen a lot of
that
personality in terms of like Vegeta like super yet. So
no, we're
what
still
I
in the throes of it.
yeah, so like I hope we get to see that because Vegeta is such a fun character when he's just and Piccolo is such like he's one of the most angriest calm person you can get. So
I'm noticing that.
So I can't. I want to see their dynamic. We never really know what. Now that I think about it, like Piccolo and Vegeta don't
Sounds
really
fun.
interact. They don't really interact a lot. So hopefully we get to see that. Yeah, no, I hope that we do get a chance to. No more poop jokes from Goku for at least the time being. Let's see poop jokes with Vegeta. A big difference.
With Piccolo.
Yeah, for a change. But yeah, let us know what you think about this episode of Dragon Ball Daima. Let us know in the comments below. And while you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, and click the noti bell because why not? Okay. We kind of mixed the last 2 parts of this podcast and talk about Ranma and Dragon Ball. Um, but let's we want to talk about Dragon Ball first.
I was gonna say, might as well.
Okay, cool. So we're still watching Dragon Ball Z. Our your current update is we're at the part where Goku and Vegeta shoot and have a beam blast with each other,
Yeah.
a beam clash.
Hmm.
Uh Can you explain to the viewers how I got you to that point because of what happened?
So we forgot the DVDs. So we had to improvise. And so the one thing we had handy was what game is it? It was a game.
No, we Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Yes. So he played for me the part that we are in currently up until like the point like where almost like where the episode ends practically. And then we went back into it and it indeed was almost like
All right.
frame per frame,
Yeah,
verbatim.
yeah. So,
What happened?
all right, well, where we're at. But that's what I was asking, where we were
Sorry,
at
sorry,
in the
sorry, 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 sorry. I was
show.
just
Generally,
kind of
yes.
that's kind of what happened.
That is what happened. So take what she said and then apply it to this is what we're doing. What we were watching is Nappa killed everybody, right?
Yes, yes.
And
Nappa kills everyone.
I didn't get a chance to bring the DVD. We're watching Dragon Ball Z Kai. We're not watching the original Dragon Ball Z because I didn't feel like watching all the filler. And honestly, Dragon Ball Z Kai has the retouched animation. I really like. I've come around. There was a whole debate a long time ago about Dragon Ball Z Kai being like this. No, don't watch it. It's terrible. You'll die. You'll kill babies if you watch it. It was a weird fucking time. But like now, people are all about Dragon Ball Z Kai because it cut out filler, and now people are like finally, oh, duh. Anyway, um, I forgot the DVD. So we decided to go into Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and I played the part where Goku comes and beats up Nappa, and then
Yes.
and then we watched
Apologies.
and then we watched up to the point where it's Goku versus Vegeta in the desert in the out no whatever the outskirts. And I got to the exact part where Vegeta goes to shoot the Gallic gun, and then I shoot the Kamehameha, and then I paused the game, was like, and now we go back to the DVD.
Yeah.
And then
Sorry.
and then almost exactly to the part that I paused the game at to the DVD is when that happened.
That's
And
where it
word
ended.
and word for word we got to where we're at.
Yeah.
So that's
Sorry. I seen it in my head.
no, I it's the
That's
yeah, that's what I was trying to get you to explain.
sorry, sorry. I
So that's
completely I was really focusing on Vegeta and Goku that I completely forgot about Nappa. So
it's
I'm
everybody
glad
forgets about
that you
Nappa. But yeah, so Goku shoots Vegeta with the Kamehameha, and then
Mhm,
Vegeta goes up in the sky, and then he gets really angry, and he's like, I
mhm.
need a moon. I need a moon right now. And that's where we ended this. So what do you think so far about Dragon Ball Z? We're at the point where we just explained. Where do you sit with all these characters? I know half of them are dead now, but where do you who's your favorite character right now?
Actually, right now, my favorite character is Vegeta.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's he just makes me giggle. He's just such an angry guy. He makes me giggle. Um, and because I know that like he changes as the show progresses, so he just makes me laugh that he's just like he has such a like complex.
Yeah.
It just makes me laugh. Um, and I think my second favorite would actually probably be Gohan.
Yeah.
I really like Gohan a lot. Um, also just from like the snippets we've seen outside of like watching the actual show, like we watched the Broly movie and we watched the stuff about Trunks. So I really like Gohan. Um, but yeah, I will say I do like this a lot better than Daima. Um, I don't know, like I can't speak too much about like regular Dragon Ball Z, because we're not watching filler. So I don't know like about like the pacing, but from what I'm watching right now, the pacing feels right. Like it doesn't feel too rushed or like too
Yeah.
slow. I feel like I'm getting enough of the slow moments with my fast. And I also don't feel like I'm missing anything, which is like good. But I
Yeah.
am like enjoying Dragon Ball Z more than Daima.
Yeah, original Dragon Ball Z has a lot of like there are I think what's funny about the original Dragon Ball Z is that they did a lot more of like lessons for kids in the
Hmm.
filler. Like the filler is a lot of like, and this is why you should always pay attention in school. Random things that would teach you like moral lessons, you know, like how to build a fire, how to survive in the wilderness. Like I don't know, just random shit that would be like, don't
It
run
was
away from home.
educational.
Yeah, don't run away from home. That type of crap. While also building kind of the character. I feel like their filler is more character building than like Naruto filler, which was just there to literally just fill time. There was actually a little bit of story for filler watchers. Not everything. Like there was a in between what we watched, there is also a Vegeta and Nappa one where they go to this planet, this bug planet, and it's so fucking useless. It's basically the same shit that you see Vegeta do, and they blow up the fucking they blow up that planet basically. And they're like, "Oh, that was fun," and then they go to Earth, and that's kind of it. We also see like Tien and Yamcha and Krillin all the training together on King Kai's, not King Kai's, on Kami's lookout. We could see them all fight up there and train, and it's kind of it. But like Dragon Ball Z Kai does a good job of cutting out all the filler. I think that it's a lot. I wouldn't say it's for your own taste. You know, like if you one day, I think
Yeah.
we'll go back and we'll watch some of it, and it'll give you like a different look on like
Yeah,
what
because
the
like right
series
now
is.
I just know what I've seen.
Yeah, and I think it's good. Like I've watched Dragon Ball Z so many times. I've seen it so many times. I've played it in so many different mediums. I love Dragon Ball Z, but like in saying that, I want to watch this as kind of like like this is my own first viewing, so I'm right here with you kind of thing. Um, I still feel like my favorite, like my you did too, I'll do too. My favorite character right now is always gonna be like Gohan. Love Gohan. Gohan's such a trooper. Gohan
Yeah,
just
I
has
really like Gohan. He's cute.
he has no eye for half these episodes. He just has a giant boob on his eye. I don't even know. He's a giant bulge because his eye is just I don't know. I don't know
A
what that is.
giant boob
It's what it looks
on
like.
his eye.
It's what it looks like. He got punched in the face by Piccolo, so he has a bulgy eye, but it looks like a boob.
He
Uh,
has like a black eye almost.
yeah, and Piccolo's probably my second because I love their dynamic. I'm sad that we'll watch it when you come by. We'll watch Piccolo's death, like on the DVD. But like when that happened, like it's so sad. It's such a sad death. Like he's like you're my only friend. Go on. I'm like, he's just a misunderstood monster. But yeah, so next week we'll get the climax. Well, we'll finish the cell saga. We'll finish the Saiyan saga, and we'll be on to the Frieza saga. So that'll be exciting. Next time on Dragon Ball Z, we'll be going to the Frieza saga. Yeah, that's it. Do you have any other thoughts on Dragon Ball?
Mhm.
All right, let's talk about Ranma 1.5 for our final part here. Ranma 1.5, Ranma.
It was, do you want to say in preface, it was brought to our attention that the creator of Inuyasha is a woman.
Oh yes,
And that was against my knowledge. So thank you so much for educating us.
yes,
Because that's very important.
yeah. We
And
kept
it
saying
brings a
him.
big,
It's her.
yeah, it brings a new perspective to everything. And that was something that I was thinking about. So just wanted to thank
Yeah,
before like we address everything else.
yeah. This was brought up because last episode we kept calling the creator him.
Hmm.
And it's her. She's a he. Wait, duh. She's a her. I know what I'm talking about. English is hard right now. So Rainma 1.5, episode 2. This episode was really funny. This was a really funny episode.
This was a funny episode.
They in the beginning episode, it's Akemi and Rainma go to school, and all the boys,
Ranma.
oh, Ranma, Rainma, Ranma, they go to school, and everyone loves Akemi. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants a piece of Akemi. And she
For
goes,
real, like they all just like want to box her. I'm like,
yo,
dude, girl can't catch a break.
she
Like,
goes
girl
there.
steps foot out of her house for like 2 seconds and she's getting like fucking sucker punched.
Bro, no wonder she hates men. I don't blame her at all for
I
this
yeah,
one.
I'm like, I get it.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
got it before, but I really get it now.
she hates men, and I get it. I get it. So yeah, she beats up a bunch of people, and then we have a new character now. What's his name? Conroe? No, Kuno. I don't know. Why don't we know these names? Why don't we ever know names? Let me look it up. Let me look it up right now. Rainma, 1.5 characters because we don't know names at all. Um, yep, it was Kano. Yeah, it was Kano. I was right.
Good
Aha,
job.
I remember names. Yeah, Kano. So yeah, Kano comes up and he's like, "Hey, hey, baby mama, you wanna fight me?
You want to box?
You wanna buy?" He comes
We've
up.
been watching a lot of Johnny Bravo. Sorry.
Yeah, that's him. There's literally Kano is literally like, let me fight you, big mama. Let me fight you for your honor. You're looking pretty good with those blue hair. Let me get that blue hair out of your eyes and give you some sun. Whoa. Like he's so great. He is hilarious because he is literally like, I do not like this. Like his mannerisms are hilarious. He fights Ranma, and they have a back and forth basically the whole episode, and then they fight in the middle of school, and they end up going into a pool, and Kano
Yeah,
grabs.
because Ranma was like, yeah, let me just jump into this pool. Nothing's gonna happen. As if he doesn't turn into like a fucking girl when water touches his skin.
Yeah, and then Ranma saves Kano, and in the middle of pulling him out of the pool because they fell from 3 floors and he knocked himself out by falling into the pool. While going over, he grabs her boob. He grabs
Yes.
his boob.
Yes.
You know what? Characterization, they've only said he has one boob this whole time. The first episode, he was like, "Oh, I have one boob." And then this episode,
I
and then this episode, he said he has a boob.
I need to like
It's
fact check that because he's drawn with two.
I
So
know, I know. That's why, that's why I was
so
like,
hang
the
on,
dub.
gang.
So the dub has been saying.
Watch me just Google does Ranma have two boobs?
I'm sure he does, but how they've been saying it, he only has one. Watch, don't go in images. Um, yeah, yeah, you're a gooner for real.
I'm not a gooner.
You're a gooner. Yeah. So he says, "Oh, you touched my boob," and now Kanu's like, Kanu wants to snoo snoo, and he is all about Ranma because he asks Ranma to a challenge, which Ranma's like, "Sure, I'll fight you in the courtyard," and then Kanu shows up with flowers and gives him flowers and is like,
Yeah, he like
um.
loves her.
And now his new obsession is Ranma. So now anytime Ranma turns into a girl, he now has to deal with a man
Yeah,
chasing him.
dude, I don't know where you're getting it that he has a uniboob.
I'm not kidding. That's how they're describing it.
Uh
That's how Ron Yeah,
um
Ranma has said this entire time. He's like, "Oh, I touched my boob." And then he said, "Oh, he touched my boob." Like he said boob, only boob singular each time in this show so far. That's where I'm getting it. There's no factual information. It's just what the dub is saying. I,
listen. I needed to be sure.
that's all the dub is saying. So, yeah, that's kind of the episode Rama. I thought this episode was really hilarious. Thought there were many of moments in this that are like, I think Kanu's a hilarious character. I thought he was going to
Yeah,
be kind
he's
of
really
annoying.
funny. And he's such a like juxtaposition between both Ranma and Akane
Yeah,
because they're both very like loud and like um strong characters that like he brings like a different type of like strength to the
yeah,
table. And I like this sort of it's an interesting way to like add like a love triangle because technically he also really likes Akane too.
yeah.
So he just doesn't know. Yeah,
Nobody knows anything.
so that was really really fun, like a really fun play on like a love triangle to see. and it was definitely less horny. Thankfully, there was
Kinda.
not nude. Well, aside from the boob grab, there wasn't any nudity. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's an
um,
improvement, kind of.
mhm.
We're gonna see some. There was a naked panda though. Every episode had somebody naked.
Yeah. So, um,
I don't really know that's a negative.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep watching it. So after this, I do want to definitely keep
Yeah,
on keeping on.
I don't know if this will be a segment that we cut for a video. Maybe we will. Who knows? We'll see how the first one did pretty well, so maybe we will. But that's Rainma 1.5, episode 2, Electric Boogaloo. What do you think in the comments below? While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe. This is also the end of the podcast. Do you have any other thoughts for this week?
Um, no.
Okay.
I'm watching Fairy Tale. I don't know if I've mentioned that.
Oh yeah, you can
Uh,
talk about that if you want. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I'm watching Fairy Tale with my roommate, and she loves Fairy Tale, so we're watching it. Um, we're at a sort of like tournament festival part. I forget the name of the arc specifically. We're at the Magic Games. We're at the Magic Games arc right now. Um, super fun. I'm actually like Fairy Tale is so horny, and I hate that. I really hate that about Fairy Tale. Um, but like because sometimes I feel like it takes away from the plot that's happening. The plot is like usually really good. Um, Fairy Tale also does a really good job at making you think a side character is the main character. Because like prior to me watching this, I thought like this whole time that Natsu was the main character. He is not. It is Lucy. But boy, does she act like a side character. Um, but yeah, so far it's been really good. Aside from like the major fan service and like the horniness that goes on in Fairy Tale. I
Yeah.
think my main critiques of it so far would be that it is extremely horny and that it relies way too much on the power of friendship. And there's also a lot of plot armor on these characters that like the only thing that progresses the plot is how much the like how good of friends they are.
So
um
Naruto.
a fairy tale does it worse than Naruto, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And I know you haven't seen it, so you just have to take my word
I'm never gonna
because
watch it. Probably
because like
not.
every time something happens, it's like, well, it's okay because we're besties. It's
So Winx Club.
almost, and like this is not like I'm not being like a fairy tale hater. I know like the fandom is pretty much like gone at this point, but like I am enjoying it. Like the plot was is
They
actually
just put out a
like
movie actually, so not
yeah,
really.
they just like did like a finishing thing to it.
Yeah.
But I really like it. I'm enjoying it so far.
I'm watching Hunter x Hunter still. There's a giant ant. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. There's the giant
There's
chimera ant.
bugs.
The
There's
ant is the
bugs
ant
in
is
Hunter.
the ant is eating. They're finally getting to the hunter part of Hunter x Hunter. It's not the Hunter x Hunter does not just stand for bounty hunter. It stands for hunting exotic animals, and we're at the hunting exotic animals part of Hunter x Hunter. The beginning opening of Hunter x Hunter talks about there being a bunch of like animals where people are like a bunch of animals are across the land, and that's what this is, and this is how they do it. And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? Nothing to the beginning, the up to where I was at right now had nothing to do with hunting bugs or hunting animals or any of that shit. I mean, kind of, sort of, but like not really. This does. This is
Oh, they
they
hunting.
are they are now. It's so funny. This arc started off so funny. Like they had this giant storyline set up to find Gon's dad, then they teleported to like this random dude, and now they're like, we'll just hang out with this guy. He seems kind of fun. And then they meet their friends, and this one guy's just making terrible jokes, and Gon is just eating them up. Gon is eating up these terrible fucking jokes. The guy's like, "What's one
Gon
plus
would love
one?
dad jokes.
4." And then he just laughs, and then Gon's like, just fucking just eating it up. And Keela was like, Okay. It is. I don't know what the fuck's happening, but I'm entertained by it because there's a side story where humans are dying and there's just giant towns being sucked up by these bugs that are eating them. And I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what's happening, but um, we're gonna see what happens. I heard this is the best arc of the show so far, so I finally got there. Even though I feel like you want to talk about a show that has so many different genres, this show has so many different genres. We've had card game like into the Ready Player One. We've had the tuning exam kind of ninja bullshit. Um, we've had gang warfare, like gang on gang warfare with like a deep ass story of a character that I don't know. It was super cool with Karapika, and then now we're fighting bugs. There's so much happening in Hunter x Hunter. They have everything. It's everything, and I like the show. There's movies. The movies were put on Netflix, so maybe we'll watch a movie this week. I don't know. We'll see. But that's my Hunter x Hunter update. um, I'm excited to keep watching. So yeah, that's it. That's podcast for this week. I hope you guys liked it. Leave a like, subscribe. Stay tuned to the very next episode of this podcast. We love you.